Let me just adjust something real quick. It seems a little. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. Here we go. Uh, all right. Hello. Welcome. My name is Jeffrey Altraki. Welcome to the Skill O'Reilly channel. I'm here with my old friend Ty McClaymore. And for those of you who don't know, we did the Cinejeff podcast a little while ago. And Ty's one of the funniest people I know. He's got a great voice. And what I wanted to do is start a section about bus stories, the craziest things that happened to you on the bus in LA. So I've invited Ty to be the inaugural guest. Hello, Ty.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm very good also.
Well, thanks for being on here. You and I have both done the Lord's work as far as riding the bus in LA.
Most definitely. Most definitely, yes.
And it is a world in and of itself. And I don't know about you, but how many times have you had someone say, you should write that down? That's great material. And here we are. We're trying to give people the material, the gold.
Yes, yes.
So what to you, what's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you when you were riding the bus?
Well, gosh, there are so many, but I think probably at the top of the list, this was the incident that happened back in, or probably like mid-August of 2014. So I'll have to kind of back up here first and kind of give your audience some context before I kind of go forward with the story. So around August 9th of 2014, there was a police-involved shooting in a town called Ferguson, Missouri, and this involved a white policeman and a black youth named Michael Brown. I believe he was like 19 years old at the time. Just kind of one of those just kind of one of many of those types of things that the news kind of covered ad nauseum. But basically, again, he was a 19-year-old. Get into an altercation with a white cop, gets shot, gets killed, and then multiple protests break out in the city for weeks. Now, this is important because now I'm going to fast forward back to my story, which is about a week later. Again, it's like mid-August of 2014. So I know, Jeff, like myself, you're taking the bus number 4, and that's kind of a whole other story in its own, that bus itself. But anyway, this was probably about 11 o'clock on a Tuesday evening, and I had to return a flash drive to a friend of mine who worked in a restaurant in Santa Monica. And so, for those who are unaware, the 4 starts like in downtown LA and ultimately ends up in Santa Monica. And so, my friend worked in a restaurant there. So the plan was to take the bus to the end of the line, get out, quickly meet up with him, give him back the flash drive, and then wait for the return bus to go back home, because typically when this bus ends, there's about an hour layover. Here's the way it works. So that was kind of the plan. Got out there about 11 o'clock, found my friend, gave him a flash drive, and then would go back and wait for the bus, which was at that point was probably about a 45-minute wait to go back. But so anyway, as this bus is kind of coming to an end in Santa Monica, I noticed that there was a young kid, who could be about 19, 20 years old, black kid in the back, and just kind of causing like a minor disturbance, kind of like annoying, kind of just unruly and loud, whatever. Didn't pay much attention to it, but anyway. So he gets off, as we all do, at the final stop. There may have been about a dozen people that got up at this stop. So anyway, I lose track of the guy. As I mentioned, I go find my friends. Come back about 15 minutes later. There's a few people there waiting for the return bus. So I'm just kind of sitting there, and all of a sudden, this kid that I had lost track of, now I see the kid walking in the middle of the street in his underwear. And I remember I just kind of had this thought. It's like out of the movie. I no sooner thought this. I remember in my head thinking, wouldn't it be funny if a cop just happened to show up right now? And I no sooner thought this. I looked to my left. There was a cop car slowly approaching the kid. I guess they had seen him a ways away. And they had the spotlight on him. And they're on the loudspeaker. And they're telling the kid to get out of the street. They're basically yelling, get out of the street. And of course, he's not listening. He's still walking forward. And it was almost comical because at one point, as he's walking forward, they're in the car. They're backing up in the car as he's walking walking toward them on the street. They're backing up in the police car, and so they're still yelling for the guy to get up.
Damn.
Get out of the street rather.
Yeah.
So after a couple of times, he finally does, and then the cops just, continue on, and normally if you saw a kid at nearly midnight in his underwear in the middle of the street, you would stop and get out and investigate and arrest or whatever. But as I said earlier, I believe because of Ferguson, and I believe that because these were two white officers, and this was a young black youth about the same age as Michael Brown, who was killed, I think they wanted no part of this, so they just continued on. So the kid, again, keeps walking, walks down the street, disappears. I lose track of him, whatever. Okay. So we're still there. Fast forward maybe 10 minutes later, still sitting there. I see this bus that's out of service, but it's traveling down the street. And it goes through the intersection, which is green, but for some reason it just stops for no reason. And it's idling. And I'm thinking, well, that's kind of strange. This bus is out of service. The light's green. There's no one in the intersection. Why is this bus just stopped all of a sudden? So I'm just kind of, trying to take all this in for a couple of minutes. And so finally, out of curiosity, I get up and I kind of walk over toward the bus. I'm on the sidewalk, but I kind of walk over to get a better view of the bus. And I'm still looking around. I don't see anything unusual. It's just quite odd. And something just happens to say, I guess the voice in my head just says, look up. And I look up, and lo and behold, it's the same kid that had disappeared earlier. He's somehow now on top of the bus. And thankfully, this is one of those rare times where, as crazy as that was, I had the presence of mind to take out my phone camera and take a couple of snaps of this, because I thought, no one will ever believe this if I don't do it. So thankfully, before the cops or anybody else got there, I had the presence of mind to do this. So I do. I take a couple of snaps. And then about the same time, I see the bus driver, who was a female. She's running around the bus, and she's panicked because it turns out, I guess what had happened was this kid had wandered into the intersection. She had actually hit him. And in a panic, she stopped the bus. And when she stopped the bus, he literally climbed, I guess using the bike rack, he literally climbed on top of the bus at that point. So that's how I guess he got on top. So as you can imagine, she comes out, she's in a panic, she disappears, but I assume she would probably call 911 or something. And, probably within, 5 minutes or so, I see one cop first on the scene. And again, this is like out of a movie. So I'm watching this guy. I see a lone, Santa Monica has their own police department. So I see a lone police officer pull up in his car, get out, start to walk toward the bus, look up, and I guess he's, at that point, sees the kid on the bus, and kind of does like a face palm, like, oh, good Lord, like, what the heck have I got into?
Yeah.
I got him a movie. So anyway, fast forward, within probably 5 or 10 minutes, there are probably an additional 10 cop cars, a couple of fire engines, a paramedic. I even saw a car that looked to be like someone from Homeland Security show up. It was kind of that crazy. And so all these cars and people converge on this bus. They rope off the street. But the funny part is, no one quite knows what to do, right? Because again, you got to understand, Ferguson is still in the back of everyone's mind, right? So everyone wants to treat the situation extremely carefully and cautiously, right? No one knows quite what to do. So for a while, people are just sort of standing around, not knowing what to do. And so finally, I see a firefighter emerge with a bullhorn, and he's trying to talk the kid down. And of course, at this point, the kid's just, doing everything. There's one point he was doing a couple of backflips on the bus. He's moving.
Damn. Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. At one point, he even took a little nap for about 15 minutes. Down or something. And no one just knew quite what to do. So anyway, long story short, fast forward a couple hours, this goes on, and then eventually a firefighter goes and gets a ladder. He has the idea, goes and gets a ladder, puts it on the side of the bus, and then steps back a few feet, and then kind of starts talking again through the loudspeaker. And somehow, I guess, he's able to eventually talk the kid, into climbing down the ladder. And then once he climbs down the ladder, they all, he's grabbed, taken into custody. And of course, I'm assuming he's probably taken to some kind of psychiatric hold or something. What I'm guessing. So
yeah.
So obviously, it did end peacefully as well. And I think I mentioned I meant to actually go and see if there was a later on to see if I could find a police incident, which I'm sure there probably is, that I can find to maybe also attach to this, just to add some weight to it. Not that it didn't happen, but just to add some weight to it as well. But I think I think hands down that was probably my craziest, I think at least adventure on the bus.
Well, that's great. Now, well, I guess I'll just weigh in a little bit. I remember during that period, I remember the protests and the tension. And I'm not going to argue for or against how they seemed like they handled it very well, to be honest.
Right. I mean, yeah, and I always go back to this. You know what? I wasn't there, so there's two sides of every story. Who knows
Right.
what the hell the truth is? You know what I mean? But I only bring up the story as context because
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, had the first two officers detained him there, you wouldn't have this situation. In other words,
I see. Yeah. Well, yeah.
right. So in other words, it snowballed out of control because they were too afraid. Which I can't say I actually blame them. I mean, I'd be kind of a little nervous too. But what I'm saying is because their failure to I believe apprehend him then is what snowballed into this later incident later on. What I'm saying. So that's that to me is what made it even kind of more comical is that normally.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. Normally to see a kid in the street near midnight in his underwear, that's not normal. Normally you wouldn't just tell him to get out of the street and then move on, right? You'd certainly get out and investigate, right? But again, given the backstory, it's like, well, you know what? We'll just act like we didn't see it. We'll just move on and let somebody else deal with it, right? Kind of that mentality, right?
Well, okay. So you had a second incident that you wanted to report to the Skill O'Reilly new Instagram channel.
Yes, correct. You're correct. So I would say I think probably the second, probably craziest event was this would have probably been I think around 2005 in the Valley, in the San Fernando Valley. I worked at a public relations company in a city called Northridge. And so one of the buses, which I'm sure you've taken quite a bit as well, was the I want to say it was a 733. This was a rapid bus that went up Van Nuys Boulevard. And so anyway, this happened as we're going up Van Nuys Boulevard. There's a major cross street called Sherman Way. We had just crossed Sherman Way, and the bus pulled over to pick up more passengers. And I remember this guy got on. Clearly, he was like a bicyclist and had on the helmet, the gear. Kind of a rail thin guy, as bicyclists often are. And I remember he had like a very, very thick, pronounced either Austrian or German accent, really, really thick. And he had his bike, so he puts his bike on the bike rack and then gets on board and pays his fare. And as you've probably seen this as well, sometimes passengers when they get on the bus, they'll want to hold a conversation with the bus driver, right? And sometimes the drivers are okay with it, sometimes they're not. I think it kind of just depends on the driver. But anyway, so this gentleman, kind of starts having a conversation with the bus driver, and the bus driver's not very, I guess, happy about that. So he tells the guy to take a seat. The guy doesn't really pay any attention to him. Anyway, he kind of says this a couple of times, take a seat. Guy doesn't sit down, keeps talking. And so I guess eventually the bus driver kind of had it. He's pretty irate now. So he literally pulls the bus over, puts it in the park, but it's still on, it's still idling, and opens the bus doors. This is kind of strange. Bypasses, in other words, the guy is just still standing there. He bypasses the guy, gets down off the bus, and he's attempting to take his bike off the bike rack. I guess his thinking is, if I take his bike off, he'll be forced to get off the bus. I guess that's his thinking. As he's doing this, and this is like out of a movie. This guy, this bicyclist guy, turns to us, the crowd, and has the most evil, how do I say this? Probably the most evil laugh and grin I think I've ever seen on somebody. And he jumps in the driver's seat as if to commandeer the bus. And so at this point, as you can imagine, there is sheer panic on the bus, right? Because if this guy gets a hold of the bus, God knows where we're going to end up, right? And one would assume that he probably didn't have much expertise, obviously, in driving buses, because he had a hard time trying to figure out how to even get out of park, right? So he's sort of fiddling around with this, trying to get out.
Yeah.
And the back door's closed. Now the front door is open, so some people are trying to run out of the front door. And while all this is going on, the bus driver, I guess, happens to hear the commotion, look up, see what's going on, and then he, quickly runs back inside. And he was a pretty big guy. I mean, he would be about maybe 300 pounds. Not muscle, but just a big, hefty, tall guy. And, bikers are pretty, most of them are rail thin. So he literally just grabs the guy out of the seat with the bus door still open and literally just throws him onto the sidewalk. Almost like a rag doll. Which was kind of bizarre. And so it was, and so of course, now we have to, we can't go anywhere, because of this incident, we have to stop and, call the police and make a report work, so it's going to be God knows how long before we can, actually leave. So essentially, the guy didn't seem too injured, but several passengers rather just kind of grabbed him, held him until the police got there. And I think overall, I think we were there about an hour and a half before I could actually, take another bus up there. So I had to call him to work and tell him what happened, which was fine. But that was certainly, well, how do I say this? I think that may have been at least my second, maybe craziest bus story I can think of.
That's fantastic. I noticed for some reason your stories are taking. We've already recorded this, but it's taken less long than last time. I thought of a few things. I'm going to be real quick with each thing. The first thing is you were talking about calling in to work because of something that wasn't your fault happened on the bus. I've been on the I don't know if it's usually like the gold line or the blue line when somebody just commits suicide or they just drive their car and they wait to get T-boned by the train. And it just fucks everyone's day. And it always have you ever been on the train around like 7:20 and somehow we all get word that that's what happened and everybody starts calling into like their telemarketing job or whatever.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I've been there. Yes.
And I think in some cases you can hear the manager on the other end giving them trouble. They're like, oh, come on, man. It's like, dude, what a dick.
Well, that's true. In fact, I think one that comes to mind was I remember I was at the North Hollywood station, and a woman had jumped in front of one of the Red Line trains and killed herself, and so that was the holdup. And so, I suppose if I'm the boss and someone's calling in telling me that a woman killed herself on the train, I'll be late. I suppose at first, hearing that, it might sound sort of hokey, but
yeah.
It's LA, but it's LA. All kinds of crazy things happen, right? So, it's like, hey, this is LA.
I just imagine some guy be like, come on, man, it's the fourth time this week. You're on thin ice,
Exactly. This is the fourth person that's killed themselves. Right? On the same line, right?
Yeah, right. Some guys like we all have to be here. Who the fuck you think you are? and then the other thought I had was anyway, I'll just cut to. I just have all these ideas, so I hope we continue on with this particular segment because as I edit this and stuff, all the memories are gonna come flooding back. But my out of the park story is I'm going to be a little quicker on this one. But my out of the park story is I was homeless for a while and I would sleep on the bus. Okay, not that big of a deal for a big guy like me. Not that big of a deal. Except when so like I fell asleep on I would just so you know how it goes is you kind of like I would always go to West Hollywood and then when that would close out I would get on the bus and I would sleep on the 4 and when the 4 got to the metro everybody knows that the metro opens around 4:30 in the morning so you can go down there and be warm and then you can get on the train and then sleep for a couple hours on the train before the working crowd gets on and then and then you have to be alert and then people get on but you can still kind of sleep and just get your bearings and then get up and get some coffee to start your day. During that time I did have a job. Most of that time I had a telemarketing job, so I would just bounce up and go to some telemarketing job. But like anyway, so that happened once that I was sleeping and I wake up and my fly's undone and there's this guy with his hands on my crotch. And so, and I remember, and it was a Hispanic guy, and I only say that because I right away went to macho mode, like, hey, fuck, as anybody
else would, as I would as well. So.
Fuck, motherfucker, fuck, and so I followed him out. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, I'm sorry, I was confused. He said that, and then someone saw me, and what they saw was a big white guy messing with a Hispanic guy for no reason. Just to be mean, and I'm there like what the fuck, and then but then and then that was it, and but then it dies down and your day starts, and then you'll go a month without something like that happening.
Very true.
And the other thing I wanted to mention is that would happen, and you would always hook your arm around your backpack,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
you would hook your arm around your backpack, and then but sometimes I would wake up and be like, fuck, where's my backpack? And then I would walk up the subway, walk up the stairs, and I would see I would see some of my stuff like on the stairs, like throughout the stairs, like clues, like, and I would see, oh, there's my sweatshirt, oh, there's my charger, oh, and then I would find my bag, and it would be clear that the guy was like looking for money, didn't find it, and said, ah.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Yeah. Certainly some method or druggy, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And just I don't know, we can cut this out, but did you ever see that? You should have you ever seen that movie with Ethan Hawke where he's the serial killer? Or not Ethan? Sorry, not Ethan Hawke, but the guy from Lord of the Rings. The skinny brunette kid who played the main role in Lord of the Rings. What's his name? The actor?
Is it Elijah something? No.
Yeah, Elijah Wood. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a movie where he plays a serial killer who owns a mannequin shop in the fashion district in LA, and he hunts down in his off time, he hunts down beautiful women and hacks them to pieces and creates mannequins with their bodies.
Good Lord. Okay.
And there's a scene. It's just, but it all takes place locally. It's all very local. So if you're local to LA, you understand LA, you recognize all sorts of shit. And there's this scene where he's on the metro, and it's from the point, I think it's from his point of view. He's on the metro. He sees a beautiful woman. He sets his sights on her. She can see what's happening. And then she's like, fuck. And she's like, ah. And then she kind of runs up the stairs. She gets to a parking lot that's very familiar. And then he sort of gets under a car and then slices her Achilles heel. Anyway, I don't know why I thought of that other than it's just that same concept of being in the metro. And it's just,
Right. It's like crazy. It's got scary.
Yeah.
Very confined.
Yeah. But then it's like, when you get used to it, and then it's like, and then you get on there with someone else and they're flipping out,
which I've seen that many times. Yes, like friends. Oh my God. Yes.
And if you're familiar, if you've done it as much as I have, like I've ridden during the Kings games, the LA Kings games.
I have too. Yes. Yeah.
And so like if you're on the Red Line or whatever, you're going up to North Hollywood, and all these like white people,
Like hockey jerseys, right?
and they're like, okay, so how does it work? Oh, so we get on the thing and what? It's 5 stops down. Oh, this is crazy. We got to tell Bob about this. And I'm like, it's so, I'm so desensitized to it,
Why like at the chicken thing and they're confused how to like.
Yeah. Now, come here, Martha. Okay. Now we got to, do they have a 5-pack? Hello, can you help me? Yeah, it's fucking, but the thing is you get older, it's just like, I can't tell you which side is right and wrong, because if they're smart enough, they have their life together enough that they've never taken the subway.
Right, that's true.
Fucking good for them. Holy shit, they live in Thousand Oaks.
That's true. Or Woodland Hills or something.
Yeah.
That's true.
If there's any kind of wood in the name of your city, you're doing very well. Magnolia Estates, Pine Grove. Fuck, dude. Like, and it's like, so I'm like envious, but I know my people. I know white people, and I know how they get when they're in a crowd. But it's just funny. Like, and and I had that with that. I got into a group of actors that I see. I did things in reverse. Like, if you're really serious about acting, apparently what you do is you buy like this one-way ticket to New York, and you just suffer for 20 years.
I guess so. Yes.
And you just suffer, and then once you get some TV credits and everything, you move out to LA.
You come back. Okay, I got it.
and then so like I met all these people who had that was their whole thing, and so I didn't dare talk to them about any sort of like discomfort or whatever, or transition to the big city or whatever, because they were all just like, oh God, New York, New York, New York, New York. And but oh yeah, but like those people, it was weird because they fucking spent, they were just same as me. They spent their lives on the subway for fucking 20 years. And but they come out here and they get a car, and then I had one of them call me once. He was like, all right, so how does it work? Tell me how it works. Because I want to take he wanted to take the metro like to the opera or something. And I was like, how does it work?
Like let me call my consultant and get the 411 on how to take the subway.
And it's crazy because it's going to be the same thing again. I don't know. And we talked about this. They literally a couple years ago hired like fucking they must have hired like 500 ambassadors.
Oh God, ambassador, yeah, that's a whole other good lord, ambassadors, yeah.
To like walk you through everything and help you out. And then anybody who looks any slightly confused, jump in and help them out. Right. And fucking it's that. So they're like now with the K line and everything, and the stadium, and we have football games every weekend down here, and it's just like in concerts and shit like that. Right. So it's gonna be that all over again, you know. But
oh, good lord, yeah, ambassadors, good lord.
Yeah, transfer chases a trip because also like I see everybody charging for parking around here. I see people stranded. I see people wasted, wearing like next to nothing after a rave, like girls.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, that's gonna be insane. Yes.
Girls just like, because this is my corner. I know this area, but I see people like sitting on the corner and they're wearing like high skirts, bare midriff. They're waiting for a lift. It's completely vulnerable.
Oh, good lord. No, that's a good point. Yeah, that's true.
And it's just like, it's crazy, but you know, it's anyway. Sorry, I probably went on a tangent. I'm probably gonna edit some of this out, to be honest.
Oh yeah, no worries.
But I've made a promise to you, so let me stop this, and I'm gonna, even while you're on the phone, I'm gonna stop it. We're gonna do a sound test, and then I'm gonna upload everything as it is to YouTube. So hold on.